Hello and welcome to Light It Up. This is the Conscious Talk Show hosted by Brigitte Mars and me, Buddha Bomb. We do it about once a month, and we've got more than 2 years of Light It Up shows, and we're continuing to do so. We basically talk about things that need to be discussed. So we light it up, we shed light on important topics. Recent shows have been about personal sovereignty, the psychedelic initiative, UFOs and UAPs, and we've got, like I said, several years of shows. Tonight is no different. We've got a very exciting show. We actually have some return guests on. And I want to introduce my lovely co-host, Brigitte Mars, and please introduce our guests.
Hi, I'm so delighted to have Jonathan and Andi Goldman in our presence. I am a big fan of their work on sound healing. I think I've, had the pleasure of being in a number of sound healing sessions with them. They are an amazing power couple, and they're really doing important work here on this planet. So that's why we're bringing them here, because we know this planet needs help. And so we try to bring together the light workers, the people that are here, because our show isn't just to complain about all the problems, but to bring solutions. Because, that's what we got to do. We're here to share solutions, to bring more enlightenment and to make light of some of the dire things. And thank you so much, Andi and Jonathan.
Oh, Brigitte and Buddha Bomb, thank you so much for having us on. And we're just going to light it up tonight with both of you and share so much about the world of sound as a healing modality.
It's such a blessing to be with you both. By gosh and by golly, in total transparency, you are two of our dearest colleagues. We haven't seen you in person in a while, but this radiance really lights it up for us. So thank you.
Thank you. And I remember that all of us got to chant together with Bethy Lovelight at Arise Festival. Om Tare Tu Tare Sove Soha. That was precious and definitely consciousness arising.
Oh, Brigitte, thank you for remembering that with you and Bethy Lovelight. And hello to Bethy Lovelight.
And we had our son Joshua with us too. How was that? That was a family affair. And I'm wearing Medicine Buddha in honor of both of you, Who are you wearing tonight? The spa sheet? No, I'm wearing Medicine Buddha. Okay.
I wear green on Fridays because it's the day of Venus. Vendredi, Viernes. So every Freya day, I wear green.
Oh, I like that, Brigitte.
I like to.
I would have worn green.
Oh, that's okay. I think Venus likes blue too. So
okay.
I want to tell a little story about the Medicine Buddha. My father was in the ICU in a hospital. He had a kidney failures and heart attack and some other problems. And I spent 10 days in the ICU doing the Medicine Buddha prayer. And the nurses and doctors were nervous, like, why is he in here all the time? And don't you want to read a book or watch television or something? And I said, no, I'm perfectly happy. And it was a beautiful time. And he ended up living about 10 more years after that.
Oh, Buddha Bomb, what a gorgeous story, because Medicine Buddha, oh my goodness, we are huge fans of Medicine Buddha, because the power of healing that happens chanting his chant is, the mantra is just so powerful. Recently, we worked with Lama Tashi, who at one point was the chant master for the Dalai Lama. And he did a whole teaching on Medicine Buddha and taught people the chant, and we chanted the mantra, and it was powerful.
Well, getting into something which we always jump ahead in time and space. We have an event coming up called World Sound Healing Day that we're going to talk about in a minute, but I got to say that one of the events is we offered this time Lama Tashi's teachings on the Medicine Buddha, and it's very cool. So I just wanted to share that with you.
Oh, yeah.
So we're
Yeah.
making that available to people on World Sound Healing Day, which is February 14th, but I don't want to go talking about that yet.
Okay.
Just
Well,
a little-
I want to share that, we have read your book on humming, and we liked it so much. Will you hold it up here? Um,
Yes,
it-
I have it right here, Brigitte.
and
It is.
it's really a powerful book. And, I remember reading in there that if you think you're coming down with a cold, to hum. And recently I have a friend um, who has a stroke, and I have another friend who has ALS. And I'm thinking you can still hum, and it creates a vibration inside you. And like maybe you're not like really able to sing, or you've got to be quiet because you're in the hospital or something, but humming is really empowering, and it feels to me like you're creating a vibration in your pineal gland, and at a cellular level it's healing from the inside out. And I think people are so like, doctor, fix me. And even like, what herbs should I take? What vitamins should I take? But there are things that we can do from the inside out. And that is even more powerful when we, do all the other modalities. But I'd love you to share some of that, because it really is magical, and it's something we can all do. It's something children can do. I love it.
So I'm going to say a couple of different things, and then I'm going to give it to Andy. But I just want to suggest that one of the things that is so important, particularly with humming, is that with your intention, you can project the sound to wherever you like. So that if you want to, in fact, we have, as one of the chapters in this book, a chapter called The Humming Hypothesis, which is about using humming to create neurogenesis, that is, new cells in the brain. And this actually stems back from some experiences that I had 30, 40 years ago working with self-created sounds. So I want to say that. So if you want to project the sound into your brain, into your head, you can. Or if you want to project it down to your heart to affect your vagus nerve and reduce stress and all that stuff. I just recently, yesterday, saw this device that's about big, and you basically put it on your heart area, and it puts ultrasound in your heart. I said, that's great, but we do that for free just by going and projecting the sound over here or over here. So our intention, I have a formula that is frequency, meaning the sound, plus intention. The consciousness behind the sound creates the outcome or the healing of the sound, which is why on a level we don't pay much attention to those people who say, oh, this frequency is good for healing this condition. Go, yes, it is, if you have the belief that it is. So therefore you can use multitudinous different frequencies. And we try, even though in my book, Healing Sounds, come on, pull it up for a second, sweetheart, which is now
We'll talk about this in a moment, because this is the 30th anniversary.
Was helpful at bringing the awareness of frequency onto the planet. I am not a frequencyist. That is, I don't get locked into thinking that there is a specific frequency for any one condition, because we have a couple of beliefs, including the belief that we are all
unique vibratory beings. But Brigitte, I want to go back to something that you were saying just a minute ago, where everybody can hum. It's like when we talk about humming, we're from our book, we're talking about conscious humming. And it is something that babies do, that the elderly do. It is like, we've never heard anyone say, oh gosh, I just am not a very good hummer, so I'm not going to hum. No. But what I like about that is that we have within ourselves, like you were saying, it's like you give yourself an internal massage. We have the ability within ourselves to hum. We can then become our own therapist. And we have that power right in our body. And so when we're stressed out, we're frustrated, we're filled with anxiety, and we know that that has indeed, been quite prevalent on our planet lately. And to be able to do something as simple as conscious humming can really help one to get back into balance,
Mhm.
Sister,
become one's own therapist.
when we wrote the humming effect, and we chose humming as a sound because, as Andy was saying, everybody can do it. We wanted to work with an all-inclusive sound. I have been initiated into some major sacred sound traditions, and I can do sounds that most people can only dream of, which is great for me. But I've been placed on this planet in order to help initiate and bring the power of sound to to everyone. And therefore, we want to make an all-inclusive sound. And the one sound we thought that nobody has difficulty making, everybody can do, is the hum.
Right.
And so we
Which
wrote,
is precisely why we wrote our
Right.
book, to
And-
bring more sound to more people.
but when we wrote the book, we said, okay, this is great. First professionally published book on the subject of humming. Who's going to take it seriously? Unless
But
we make the first chapter about peer-reviewed scientific medical information on the physiological benefits of humming. We did, they do, and it is.
And so that sort of lays the foundation, because, and once again, we talk about it as conscious humming, and in the book we have different exercises that you can do. But I think the most important thing is that to lower our stress levels and our levels of anxiety right now in such an effective, simple way, I think is such a gift. And in fact, I wonder if I should read this.
Okay, but you also gotta talk about some of the physiological benefits.
Well, absolutely. So when we are just humming,
Mm.
where we take a deep breath and, do some breathing, and then we,
Well,
hum.
what I learned is that if we're gonna make a sound, that we gotta do this so people can really hear it. Now go.
Taking a deep breath, and then on the out breath, let the hum come.
So we're doing a hyphenagling of changing the original sound from musician on and off. I hope you were able to hear that one.
We could, but you said anybody can do it. So
Yeah.
you don't need a musical background, even
Uh-huh.
though you could have a musical background. And Jonathan's a, master musician, among many other things, but anybody can just hum, and you have to put your lips together. Can you give us a short tutorial on how do we hum?
Okay, so we're gonna play a game, okay, kids? The first
Okay.
thing is, just because there are only a couple of majorly important things that you have to do in order to properly hum. Yes, there are. One of them is you gotta have your lips closed. If your mouth is open, that's not a hum. So if you're going, so here, how can you tell? Here, we're gonna start humming, and then we're gonna pinch our nose, and we want you to do it too. Tell us what happens. Make sure your lips are closed.
What happened?
You can't hum if your nose is pinched, because that's the only place where the sound is coming out. So that's the first thing about conscious humming and proper humming, is to have your lips closed. In other words, people go, "Oh, I can hum with my nose closed." No, then your lips are open. You're going, and so it's not a hum, because one of the physiological things that occurs. We're jumping around. I do that these days. But when it's really important, one of the physiological benefits of humming, and this is huge, is that you get the release of nitric oxide, which is not only a vasodilator, meaning that it widens your circulatory system, allowing blood and oxygen to flow more readily through your circulatory system, but also nitric oxide is an antiviral agent. So that a lot of those critters that get us during flu season or whatnot first lodge themselves in the sinus cavity. And when you hum, you get 15 times the amount of nitric oxide that is generated even when they do what is called nitric oxide breathing. You get 15 times that amount. And that 15 times is enough to create a therapeutic level of nitric oxide. Now, Andy, read the thing.
Oh, well, let's continue with the
Okay.
physiological benefits, because nitric oxide for sure, but also when we are humming, our blood pressure is lowered, our heart rate is lowered. There is the release of melatonin, which helps our sleep cycles. And in fact, sometimes if I wake up in the night and I can't get back to sleep, I will start humming, breathing and humming, and that will release melatonin. And what I love so much is when people are humming, and if you're humming with someone else, or even if you're humming by yourself, you get the release of oxytocin, which is the trust hormone. And so you begin to feel better. You begin to feel connected. You have that trust hormone activated. So there's a lot of physiological benefits.
Couple of things. You get the
Yeah.
release of endorphins, those wonderful self-made, if you like, self-made opiates that basically help reduce pain. You also get heart rate variability. So your heart and your brain get into coherence, and the relationship between them becomes entwined, and it really assists all sorts of different things. So there's so many different benefits, and us all coming from a little bit of a spiritual background, I'm going to refer us to the Yoga Sutras by Patanjali's. Sutra 1.27 basically says something akin to, this is Goldman's version, the original sound of creation was pranava, the humming of prana. They had to give it a name, so they called it Om. So the hum may be the original sound of creation.
Mhm. I've often thought that, and talking about humming, it reminds me even a very primeval thing, because a baby at its mother's breast, their mouth is closed. And I remember in your reading of the many books of yours that I've read, that when we ohm, which is really a nice thing to do, a lot of people are doing that, bands will do it before they play to synchronize their frequency. But I remember you encouraging us to draw out the part. It's not just the ow, there's a and really elongate that. So that's amazing. And also that you talked about how it doesn't all have to be in the same key or pitch or tune, and that Om is the sound of everything in the universe singing all at once. And that includes the dog barking and the truck unloading stuff out in the parking lot. And it's everything, the things that might be disturbing, but it's a way of harmonizing our frequencies. And I think it's a really powerful thing to get together and, tone together. And I will share that when Bethy Lovelight and I get in a car, without fail, we do an Om, and we visualize surrounding the vehicle with a torus of light. I think it's probably saved our butts more than once.
Brigitte and Bethy Lovelight, oh my goodness, what a beautiful thing to do. And that is something that Jonathan and I do as well when we get in the car. And, and that brings me back to the whole aspect of intention, because we get in the car, we have the intention of putting safety around us, putting healing around us, and then we ohm, and that sound carries that intention into manifestation.
But I'm just, one more plug for the Om as a silly thing. But if our purpose is to bring sound to the people, meaning everyone, there are certain folks on this planet who are very, very locked into not doing an Om because it is a heathen sound from a heathen tradition and is the sound of the dark side. But if they just do a hum, it's not written anywhere that the hum is a heathen sound. So everybody from every tradition, whether you're an evangelist or whatnot, can do a hum. and therefore without being fearful that they are somehow treading on the dark side.
No, they're not. And you know what I would love to do is
Yeah.
that on the back of our book, The Humming Effect, we have a quote from Dr. Bruce Lipton, who wrote The Biology of Belief. And we love this quote so much because it sort of encapsulates the whole issue that we're talking about. And he said, I highly recommend the humming effect for all those impacted by the stress of the modern world. And this next part is what I love. It is a powerful non-pharmaceutical prescription for self-healing that has only positive side effects, such as harmony, health, and happiness. So it just sums it up, the real value of being able to do something as simple yet as effective as a conscious hum.
And just getting back to what Buddha Baum was saying, so about, what are the, how do we properly hum, of course, which seems silly, but once again, you got to keep your lips closed. Second of all, you want to do it in a range that is comfortable for you. Very important. And most of the time, the best range and actually the most healing, everybody's searching for their soul note or whatnot. It's usually very close to our conversational voice.
Mm-hmm.
So in other words, if I were to try to hum, that was straining my voice. That wasn't good for me. But if I go, that was great for me. That's the second thing. And the third thing is we like to suggest that you hum in just one note. So in other words, humming zippity-doo-dah is great, but if you want the most powerful physiological effect, you just hum in that comfortable frequency to create the greatest standing wave resonant frequency buildup. And finally, last but not least, I'm on a roll here. When you get done humming, be in silence, because silence is the yin to the yang of sound. Andi, take it.
Well, and silence is that time where we really are able to listen to our own inner wisdom, after we have made sound for a period of time, and then we go into silence, we are able to actually listen within. And the interesting thing that I ran across not too long ago, the word silent and the word listen are anagrams. They have the exact same letters in them. And when I read that, I went, wow, take that in. Silence, silent, and listen. When we are listening, wow, in the silence, there's powerful medicine
And that's
there.
one of the things, as sound grows and grows, I have to tell you, it took me 20 years to understand the power of silence, because I was so enamored with making sound that I just, and it was actually at a presentation that our friend Don Campbell, who introduced us, he was doing a presentation on that, and the fellow next to me was a well-known sound healer from Los Angeles. And at the end, Don said, now be in silence. And this guy was so enamored with, that I felt it. And I finally got him to because he hadn't discovered, and it was that point that I realized that he hadn't discovered, and I just had that huge aha of, wow, silence is the yin to the yang. Silence is the place where the true shift and change happens, much more powerfully and effectively than if we just all of a sudden start switching frequencies. So those four elements, basically, have your lips closed, do it in a comfortable voice, don't hum on one note, and then be in silence. So those four things are perhaps, anything else you can think of?
And I will add a fifth thing, and
Okay.
that is to always remember the importance of breath.
Oh, yeah.
Because obviously without our breath, there is no sound. And so before we make sound, whatever, whether it's humming, whether it's oming, whether it's whatever mantra, always take those nice, deep, diaphragmatic breaths, those belly breaths. And that really helps to support the sound that then will come. So that
I love it. And before we move on to sharing about this big event, the World Sound Healing Day, which is amazing. I want to share, I made a little bumper sticker. It says Om at 420.
oh, I love that.
I'm going to send you one because, I sat next to Barbara Marks Hubbard at a wedding, and she was saying if we could just get everyone to harmonize their frequencies. I said, what about oming at 420? And of course I had to explain to her, like, what is that? So anyways, I'll get your address and send you one. It has a rainbow and a sunflower on it, like my
Would love it.
but you know what? It is about intention. And of course, a lot of people think 420, smoke weed. But what if we just, whether you're doing that or not doing that, what if we just all had one breath for peace? And I know your mission of bringing more peace to the planet is so grand, and it's really getting us all to focus our energies on this one day. So I am really excited. I participated many, many times in the event, and you are able to share your screen if you want to tell us about this event, because I'm going to put it in my day tripper.
Okay, but before you do that, I had a thought that about what you were saying about humming's not written anywhere, but there actually is, like, one of the shortest Buddhist prayers is Om Ah Hum.
Right, that's right.
Yeah, Buddha bomb.
And that perfectly
right.
brings in the whole concept of World Sound Healing Day. And I'm going to tell you how and why. About 22 years ago now, Andy and I were in deep meditation. And this being came to us and said, you've been involved in helping bring awareness of the power of sound to heal on a personal level of the planet. You've been successful. Don't stop that. But we want you now to begin to integrate something else, and that is bringing sound for healing the planet, not personal, but planetary. We thought, great, and then transmission got cut off. We had to figure out how. And I'm just going to suggest that very shortly after that, I was in a chat room following one of our Healing Sounds intensives with a number of the students from there. And this was at the time when they didn't have Zoom and they didn't have this and that. They just had chat rooms. And I said to everybody, okay, let's do an Om. And everybody was separated by time and space, and you couldn't see or hear anybody. And yet when we did the Om together, you could feel the energy field and went, wow. And then it struck me that the internet is the neural mind, the neural net of the planet. How can we activate the global heart of the planet? And then I remembered that in a lot of the sacred traditions, there is mind, body, and the connecting link, speech, through which the Om Ah Hum indeed comes from, but therefore it's sound being the connecting link between the body and the mind and the body. And from there we went to the creation of, let us on one day get as many people as possible together to sound forth and send a Valentine, a sonic Valentine, to the Gaia matrix, our Mother Earth. And at the time we were working with the Ah sound, because there's many different traditions and it depends upon your intentionality, but the Ah sound, whether it's Ma, Pa, Tara, Buddha, etc. The ah is oftentimes associated. It's a sound we make when we like something. Ah. So we had, that first one we did.
Yeah. So we thought, well, okay, let's choose that day that we want this to happen. And we then thought, well, there's already so much love that's being generated anyway on February 14th because it's Valentine's Day. Let's add a little bit of sound to that day with that intention of sending healing and love to Mother Earth. And so that was why we chose February 14th. And then we had the ah sound, and we encouraged people to to form groups in their community and do a, some kind of ceremony or whatever meditation where you would sound forth the ah sound for planetary healing. And I know that you both were able to come to the one that we would facilitate here in Boulder.
Right.
And we had a beautiful hour-long ceremony of sounding forth the ah sound. And then, of course, that was 21 years ago. And over time, it has grown and grown and grown. And so now people throughout the planet on February 14th are coming together and facilitating or participating in some kind of group ceremony or meditation with sound, with the intention of bringing more love, more healing, more appreciation.
Just recently, I came across the first announcement for World Sound Healing Day.
Mhm.
And at that one, it was the internet radio. They did have internet radio. And at 9 o'clock in the morning, or 10 o'clock in the morning, which was 12 o'clock noon, New York time, we did an over the radio with a particular group. And then also, I think like around 9 o'clock at night, because that was like 12 o'clock in Tokyo or something like that. But we try to be, if you like, balanced or whatnot. But now we've not only, we still deeply bring the in, but we've also just thought that, number one, any sound, anytime during the day, if it is encoded with the energy of love and compassion, kindness and gratitude, is a good sound and a healing sound. Number one. And number two, I think as we evolve in our consciousness, we realize on a level, time and space are really constructs of the lower mind, and that everything is everything and going on simultaneously. So if we can just nail it to about a day or so, we're in good shape.
And go ahead.
And I love the idea that it's not only about Valentine's being love for your sweetie, it's like love for the planet and love for humanity. And we just all need to make this bigger than just, the two people thing. It's like we need help. So this is something that people of all, all denominations can agree to give sound a chance.
Oh, give sound a chance. I love that. And what you just touched on, Brigitte, is the big deal here is that World Sound Healing Day is open to absolutely everyone, whether you are a participant and wanting to join a group or you want to facilitate a group. It's open to everyone. It is all inclusive. And of course, with the recent, pandemic that we've had, everything kind of went online. And so people would post their events online. They're still doing that now, even though things have opened up a bit and now people are doing, in-person groups, but still you can go to our website.
In fact, we're going to journey there very soon. Did you have another question before we took the journey to World Sound Healing Day?
No, I want to know how we can participate. This is hope for a world that really needs healing.
Nice.
Yeah, and I wanted to mention there's no charge. It's very easy to do. You don't have to sign in or anything like that. You can just go to the website and participate in any of these online events.
Well,
Thank you for bringing that
thank you, because
up.
that is,
Yeah.
how outrageous.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people, when they first get there, they get very confused. They go, where do I sign up? Where do I register for it?
Where do I put my
Where do I-
email address
and
in?
We don't
And
want
it's like,
anything except for you to be a co-creative sonic activist to help heal the planet. And that's a new thought form for a lot of people. So what I'm going to attempt to do, if I can, is
Let's
I'm going
see.
to attempt to screen share. Yes, we are. And here we are, magically going to be going to the World Sound Healing Day website, worldsoundhealingday.org. This is the homepage. And I'll go down. You can see it's on February 14th, 2023 on the homepage. And here's a little video welcoming people. Here is something that's very cool. And this is, once again, if you want to have a guided meditation, which I created with Andi, you can download it free here and take it and do it for yourself anytime you want. It activates the heart center. It activates heart-brain coherence. It's a wonderful sound and it's free. Here's a little bit of information about that, including the purpose World Sound Healing Day to heal our planet, heal our waters, raise our consciousness, and much more. Here's another little welcoming, but instead I am going to go to our fabulous events portal, which it's not too late for people if they want to. We accept events up to the February 14th, so there are a couple more days, but here is the events portal, and we're going to click on that hopefully, and that'll take us here. Here's a little explanation, I guess, to people about it. It's been a while. It's pretty simple at Buddha Bomb. As you said, you basically click a link and you post your event. And this is some of the different events that are happening throughout the planet. Now we're going to go down and just see them for just a moment. I'm not going to go too slow or too fast. Here's Lamatashi doing one thing. In India, he's doing it February 13th at 8 o'clock our time, but it's actually 7:30 in the morning on February 14th in India. So he's one of those people starting it. There are all these different things. The people from HeartMath are doing a global coherence World Sound Healing Day experience, which is wonderful. We love the work of HeartMath, and we're going to talk about heart-brain coherence in a minute. There are all these different chakra chants. Then we have a radio show that is doing it, and Lamatashi is doing something else with Medicine Buddha. Wonderful, wonderful things. Global Om, we're highlighting us, but there are all these other ones. Here's something from Australia, California. Obviously bowls. We're doing a global humming thing. Buddha Bomb is doing something here, but I'm going slow with this one. Sonic Valentine, there at the brilliant guy named Jim Oliver, who does a live healing concert. Here's Ashara doing something from Sedona with her thing, and just things going on here. Gongs going
all over
on.
the world. Brazil, I saw there.
Oh,
gosh, so
there's
many.
even something going on in China. I love it.
I mean, I know there's over at least 50 different countries that are being represented.
It's crazy, and what a blessing that I don't even know where Tanustan is, but I'm sure it's somewhere. And here's a poetry reading, done with love.
And there's Buddha Bomb.
Here is
So Buddha Bomb is at 4:30 Mountain Time. Okay,
yeah.
that'll catch all the 420 people. 4:30, tune in, turn on. And, are you suggesting that, maybe get together with a small group of friends and select one of these venues and enjoy it together?
Absolutely.
I mean, if you can, what a blessing.
Yes.
What a blessing.
And there's so many choices that you can do, more than just one. You can
Right.
go
Beautiful.
to different experiences.
Our friend Geraldine Glass, who's a student and now major sound healer, just wow. I'm just looking at these because they keep shifting and changing.
And more people keep putting posts.
Italy.
And the thing is that these are people that are posting their events, but anybody can join any event.
Right, and go from one to the other. And so we also suggest that you visit the site, and that if you find something that's interesting, but and I think as soon as here's our friend Paul Temple, and I'm going to click this on just because this is Paul, and we'll see. This probably will take us there. And Sound Temple, and he's doing something here, and he's doing it in Boulder. What a blessing. I'm going to go back, and I hope I didn't lose that page. We'll see. Took us back to the top, so I'm going to real high speed going down a lot further just so we can continue looking at it, because I have to admit that it's a real pleasure to look at this and share this stuff, because there's so much great activity. different frequencies, different sounds, different tones, different X, Y, or Z, just as long as they're done with, I love it. You know, here's something from Belgium. Okay, I'm just seeing that. A gong bath. I don't know where
And
the heck that's
Germany,
going.
here's some from
Germany.
Germany.
You know, a number of people wait till the last minute to put out their thing. So right now we've got about 120 things, and I'm expecting last year we had a close to 200 by the time it was over. And it, you know, it's not the amount of people. It's the consciousness of the people that are doing it here.
There's China, Italy,
Yeah.
China.
How cool is that?
And you know, when you see all of these different events, you know, you can just imagine that throughout the planet on this particular day, there's going to be so much intention of healing and sending out love and appreciation and gratitude and all of those positive vibes by so many people that, you know, we're all in this together, and that field is out there. We're all part of the field. We are the field.
I have to ask, Buddha Bomb, what are you doing? Are you going to be doing an EDM experience for us?
Yeah, I put together a mix, was
Oh,
what I would
beautiful.
call it, of, you know, different styles of what I consider healing music. There's a lot of indigenous sounds
Ah,
from indigenous cultures in the mix, and a lot of real pretty, beautiful sounds as well. So it was a lot of fun to put together, and I listened today. I'm a little bit under the weather, and it helped me feel a lot better.
Oh,
It's about an hour,
yeah.
a little bit over an hour long.
oh, beautiful, beautiful.
Mm.
Just all sorts of different things. And that's one that, once again, there's so many different events that we suggest that people go there just to check out what it is. So they might find 2 or 3 different events at different times that resonate with them. It's a real sonic smorgasbord that is free. We don't ask for emails, no registration, just do it. I'm always a huge believer that if humans, if left to their highest good, will create something miraculous.
I like that, Jonathan. I believe that too. I really do. And you know, it's so needed on our planet at this particular juncture of our evolution. And there's a lot of people who really, in their heart of hearts, want to have a more loving, more kind world. And this, of course, is a great way to contribute to that. But we do like to say that actually every day is World Sound Healing Day, because every day, you know, it's not limited. I mean, this is the big event and come on for the 14th, but just putting out every day those intentions of shifting and helping our planet to heal and to put loving kindness and beautiful energy. That's the world we want to live in.
I just want to suggest that as there's a science behind the power of the hum, particularly the hum coupled with intention, there is a science to humans meditating together, sounding in love together, being in joy and compassion together. And the science is that we can literally interface with the field of our planet. It is, among other things, an electromagnetic field. It is a field that we are all part of, because we are all part of that divine matrix. And even a small group of people doing some sort of positive, compassionate activity. There's something called the Global Consciousness Project out of Princeton, New Jersey, that is simply one of the ways that they discovered how this field could be measured. And they found this very, very simply by a lovely being by the name of Roger Nelson, Dr. Roger Nelson, basically, as an experiment, wanted to see if a small group of people projecting compassion and kindness could affect a computer. So we ran a random number generator, which is basically a system of zeros and ones with a computer. And when these people were generating compassion, the numbers became less random. When it's random and you were to graph it, it would be a straight line. But here, because there were either more zeros or ones, all of a sudden it would look like Mount Everest or something like that. So they began to find that events of high compassion produce this effect, not events of high excitement like the Super Bowl, which is brilliant. But Super Bowl doesn't do as much as a small number of people in high compassion, which brings me to an ancient, if you like, thought. First of all, in a number of different traditions, there are like 24 avatars, or in the Hebrew tradition, 36 tzaddikim, wise men and saints and sages, who are basically all the time helping keep balance onto the planet. And there's a phenomena called the Maharishi effect that was discovered many years ago when the people from the TM organization would do these meditations, and they found that violent activities dropped dramatically, including illnesses and problematic situations right around the area where the people were meditating. And they came up with a number that it was there was the square root of 1% of the population of the planet, which at the time, well, the planet's grown a little bit more. You know what the square root of 8 billion people is? 9,000 people.
Okay.
That's all. But once again, these 9,000 people are fairly coherently organized. They're not, some people said, well, gee, there are these group meditations all the time that are going on, and, why don't we have peace? But, you can go to a peace demonstration, and half the people there are chanting peace, but they're very angry. And a lot of people there are thinking about who I can hook up with. And a lot of people there are thinking about what am I going to have for lunch or dinner? We're talking about basically working with a really powerful heart-brain coherence, which basically causes the heart and the brain. This is courtesy of the Heart Math Institute, and the heart and the brain to basically synchronize together. And when that happens, the electromagnetic field that is produced is anywhere from 50 to 500 to even 5,000 times greater than normal. And then when you add the element of sound, it becomes even greater. And this is the reason why the majority of the prayers on our planet are vocalized, or whispered, chanted, spoken, or sung, because sound focuses our intention and amplifies our energy field.
Mm. And so when our heart and our brain are in coherence, and they become in coherence when we are feeling appreciation, when we are feeling positivity, when we are feeling that compassion, that gratitude, and we're breathing in and out through the area of our heart, that is a real key to putting ourselves into coherence. And then when we add sound to that particular time where we're in this positive, loving energy, wow, that's when it really amplifies and goes out and makes those shifts and changes on our planet.
And it can be in any frequency, any tone, anything, as long as it's encoded with that energy. In other words, we can encode whatever we want on whatever the sound is. The sound by itself, for the most part, doesn't encode it. There are special sacred mantras and all that stuff, but even them, they are made more powerful with our intention, whether we're feeling compassion and doing the mane, or thinking about healing and working with medicine Buddha, or whatever prayer from whatever tradition. Mm-hmm. I'm done talking. I'm ready for a question. or thought.
Well, and I'll just say to remind people of that wonderful formula, Jonathan, that you created: frequency plus intent equals healing. So when we can hold that intention of great positivity and appreciation and compassion, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, it can really make a difference. And we have a choice. We can go there.
Right.
We can make that
That's right.
choice.
Yeah,
And
I
it's
heard,
so simple, even a child can do it.
Exactly. Yes.
You know, it's not like you need to go to music school for this. What a beautiful gift to the world, a world that needs help and healing so much, so simple. And I think that even animals get in on the
Oh,
frequency too.
definitely. Definitely. They
Totally.
are right there with us. Oh my gosh, they are these beings that have these emotional bodies as well as we do. And so, oh my goodness, we've done, in fact, with animals, you know, if we have an animal that's out of that's having difficulty, we'll tone into that dog or we'll tone into that cat. But yes, animals, absolutely.
yeah, I heard something interesting on Coast to Coast, which is a late night talk show. Jonathan's been a guest on that show several times. Just a few nights ago, and it was about grief. And the guest made the point that tears of joy and tears of grief have been analyzed, and that they have different qualities, like our body somehow knows about that. And one of the purposes you state about the World Sound Healing Day is heal our waters. So I wonder if you could just talk about that a little bit.
What a blessing. Thank you. A beloved being by the name of Masaru Emoto, a Japanese scientist, took water, basically exposed it to different intentions, and basically froze it. And then as it was thawing out, he would take photographs of it. And he found that water that basically had pure positive intentionality looked like a snowflake. Water that had anger, negative emotions, fear, looked like mud. But the brilliant thing about that was that he didn't experiment. Took water from the Fujiwara Dam, which is a polluted dam in Japan. And he first photographed that, and because it's a polluted dam, it looked like mud. And then he had a Buddhist priest chant the Heart Sutra over it for about 20 minutes. We photographed it, and it looked pristine like a snowflake. And if you think how much of our body is composed of water, how much of our planet is composed of water, and simply sacred sound coupled with intentionality can shift and change our vibratory field, rearrange our molecular structure, heal our water.
And I know that you, and hello, Bethy Lovelight, I should see you there. I know that all three of you have been to our toning circle where we've had a crystal bowl filled with water. And then as we're toning, healing energy to Mother Earth, that vibration goes into that water. And then we all have an opportunity to drink that water and, you know, take that water and put it into streams or wherever. And so healing the waters is a huge, big piece of World Sound Healing Day.
We were down in, real quick, we were down in Australia for in 2012. There's said to be a major vibrational shift. So on December 21st, believe it or not, we were able to do a global for planetary healing there. But one of the people we met there was a woman by the name of Grandma Aggie.
And she is one of the 13 indigenous grandmothers. And she shared with us that no matter where, if she passes by a stream, she says thank you to the water. If she takes a drink of water, she says thank you to the water going into her body. And so thank you to the water for nourishing our planet. And because of that, to this day, every morning when I drink my big glass of water in the morning, I just thank you. So yeah, so healing the waters and having the frequency of gratefulness is
Buddha that's beautiful. And the person did a basically a chemical analysis, I guess, or something like that. Yes.
Yes.
Beautiful. Just everything adding up more and more to trying to direct us to the truth. If we can somehow stay focused and not be divided by all the manipulatory forces that are trying to get our attention and tear us apart. What a blessing. And sound can keep us together.
And I'm just thinking, because, you know, a lot of times we do go to festivals and, you know, a lot of people think, oh, it's just a song. But when the music is so much faster than your heart and it's coming up through the ground and entering your body, I think it makes a lot of people anxious. You know?
There are two ways that sound affects us.
Mhm.
Andy?
well, vibroacoustically, where it does do that, Brigitte, it goes directly into our body at a cellular level. We also experience and affected by sound psychoacoustically.
Psychoacoustically, which is through the ears and the nervous system.
So what the example that you just shared, what's happening is that people are experiencing it both psychoacoustically and vibroacoustically, and it can be too much.
And it's
At
affecting the
times.
nervous system, which is
Yeah.
okay, but just we have to be aware of it.
Mhm.
And we don't ever recommend. First of all, we are all unique vibratory beings, and therefore no one sound is going to work for everybody. Just bottom line, just as I think you'll probably agree that everybody has different sensitivities to different herbs and whatnot. I always talk about penicillin. I would say, hey, how many of you are allergic to penicillin?
Mhm.
In a workshop, 15, exactly. Here we go,
Me
even
too.
higher than 5% or 20%. I say, okay, if you perceive that penicillin is a vibration, it's a series of frequencies,
Mhm.
for 80% of the population, it's going to heal you, but for 20%, it's toxic. What a great metaphor for everything. Therefore, anybody who says, do this, it'll heal you, they don't have much experience.
Well, and that brings me to just reminding everyone to honor yourself, to be tuned into, hey, if this is too much sound, take care of yourself and maybe, tone it down,
Yeah.
but honor where you're at. Honor yourself. That's a big deal.
If you're on a treadmill, you want fast sounds, but if you're trying to, if you're on a treadmill and you listen to some of my music, you'll fall off. Your nervous system musculature will become so weakened. At the same time, if you're trying to meditate or whatnot, fast sounds may be counter to what the doctor ordered, or not.
So I just want to be clear, because we want everyone to tune into World Sound Healing Day. They simply go to worldsoundhealingday.com. Is that it?
Or
And then
.org.
.org, and then they pick the program that appeals to them. There's stuff going on all day. I really hope that people tune in, because we need some help. And I thank you so much for being on our show, Light It Up Again. And we always like to have Buddha Bomb give the closing. We're going to put this on all our social media. Thank you so much. Blessings. And we will be oming and humming and tuning in on Valentine's Day, at least part of the day with you all. Thank you so much for all you do.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting us.
right, we like to say we heal the planet,
We heal ourselves
we heal ourselves,
and we heal the planet.
we can make a difference.
We talked about the stresses of the modern world and all the things. There's a lot of negativity and divisiveness going on in the world. But tonight we also talked about how we can heal the planet, and how it starts with healing ourselves. So with a mind of gratitude, let's be grateful that we've talked about ways that are simple to do, It doesn't cost anything, and it actually helps our being. So with the mind of gratitude for the beauty and the intelligence and the potential for healing ourselves and healing the planet, let's let that percolate in our hearts with positive energy, with gratitude, and let's send out this energy to the world that needs so much healing, and let's share it with everyone right now. Om. Om. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Brigitte Mars. Always a pleasure. Thank you, Bethy Lovelight and Jonathan Andi Goldman. Thank you for sharing all your knowledge and joy with us and your healing modalities. So now let's heal ourselves and the planet. Thank you.
So
Blessed-
many blessings.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you, Buddha Bomb. Have a good night. Love and light.
All right. Light it up.